What is up? It's Dakota Layden here from Destination Fear, and you are listening to the Paranormally Zone.
A ghostly apparition in the dark of night.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Mike, the recording is on. What the hell has happened in your house today that would qualify for a Ghost Gab segment? That's right, boys and girls. We're not wasting any time. We're diving right into some ghost talk.
I know. I feel like I've been slapped right in the back of the head by that.
I'm sorry.
No hello, nothing. No, nice to see you, Mike, you bastard.
Well, I will say hello to Mr. Ranch Handy. Hi, Ranch Handy.
and yes, Peter, Paul, and Harry. Nice to see you as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I have multiple personalities tonight, so hopefully I can rein them all in. So
yes,
we'll
my
see
name
how
is
it goes.
Ranch Handy.
I already made that perfectly clear. Thank you for repeating it.
Now
Now we're diving right into Ghost Gab. Mike, for those who are not familiar, this is usually how we open each and every show after our usual gibberish, I should say. If we have something cool to talk about, paranormally speaking, whether it be personal experiences, opinions, takes, theories, what have you, famous cases, infamous cases, anyhow, that's what we talk about in Ghost Gab. And Mike, you mentioned that something odd happened today, and I told you, do not share it right now. Wait until we start recording.
Yes.
What the hell happened? Please.
Well, I did not experience it myself, but I was laying in bed still, awake, but just relaxing. I was just not ready to get up yet. My body was not letting me. But that is besides the point. Anyway,
and this was at 5:30 p.m.
No, it was actually this morning.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't in the afternoon.
I'm proud of you.
But anyway, Mary, she was out in the kitchen. I think she was doing some dishes.
Explain to our listeners who Mary is, in case they are new to the Paranormal Zone.
Mary is my wife, my beloved, my betrothed lady.
Okay, enough. Ick. Okay, move forward.
But anyway, so all of a sudden I hear from out in the kitchen saying, "What did you say?" or something like that. And here I guess Mary heard somebody in the dining room like clearing their throat. And
really?
It was not I. I heard nothing from where I was at, and I did not clear my throat. And like I said, she said it was like in the dining room right next to the kitchen.
Now, I noticed for our listeners at home who are not watching this, as a matter of fact, no one is watching this right now because this is not a video episode, but I was looking right at Mike. And when you were reiterating that you did not make the noise of clearing your throat, you looked over to the right like this, Mike. And this is great audio, great listening for our listeners because they can't see me. You looked over like this, like, am I sure it wasn't me? Were you questioning whether or not you were the one who made said throat gurgle?
No, I know it wasn't me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because as soon as, I had realized what was going on, I quickly took into account everything in my mind to kind of keep it straight and see if I could debunk anything, if you will.
Dang. Okay.
So,
did Mary elaborate if she thought it sounded male or female or any other details? Or
well, Mary, did that sound like a male, or when you heard that?
This is live.
Hello, Mary.
She's passed out. She's
Hello.
hanging out with the ghost gurgler.
She's got her headphones on. I think she's watching Tubi on her phone.
Hey, there you go.
I'm on the computer, and
well, we'll assume that it was human, or the ghostly voice of a human,
or human-esque.
Human-esque. There you go. I like that. Well, that's interesting. Have you ever heard anything like that? I mean, you guys have heard and experienced so much in that. I think we could. Can we call this house haunted of yours, Mike, or is it?
Oh, absolutely. Just the fact that we've seen even just the ghost cat.
I know.
Haunted on that level, or the black shadows or the wispy forms that Mary and I have both seen.
Right.
Going through the dining room. Me from the kitchen and her from the living room.
The phantom phone call.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's so much. Yeah.
Now, would you say, before we get too sidetracked here, would you call it haunted, or would you say it's paranormally active?
Well, I would say it would have to be paranormally active for it to be haunted.
Correct.
And wouldn't it have to be haunted for it to be paranormally active?
Not necessarily. See, I'm old school. You're old school. We used to watch an old show called Ghost Hunters. You remember that when that came out and was such a sensation back in the day?
We loved it.
Oh gosh, yes. And I seem to recall one Jason Hawes, former guest on the Paranormal Zone, by the way.
Absolutely.
I remember it was just like it was pulling teeth for him to admit a place was haunted. He would say that, yeah, they have some activity here. It's got some paranormal oddness going on, but I'm not going to say it's haunted. So that's where I'm kind of vibing right now. It's like, because haunted a lot of times, Mike, has kind of that negative connotation, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not saying that's our opinion, but I'm saying that's how a lot of folks, that's their perspective from a lot of folks on the outside.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So like when I go visit you, I don't ever think about, when I go visit you and Mary, when we go on our paranormal jaunts and stuff, I don't ever feel like, oh, I'm in a haunted house, but I feel like I'm in a house that definitely has had some paranormal activity in it.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, thank you for your feedback.
Well, I see your point, but just how much does it take for it to be classified as a haunting?
Correct. I understand.
I don't know. Maybe there's a kind of a thin line there,
Yeah. Tell you what, listeners out there, we're going to throw that to you. Throw it back at us. Your opinions, your takes. What does it take to label, quote unquote, label a locale such as a house as haunted compared to being paranormally active? What are your thoughts? What does it take? Let's hear some thoughts, some opinions. We want to hear from you. Contact us anywhere you can at the Paranormal Zone podcast. Mishka wants to speak up. She thinks the place is haunted, so that's how it goes. In case you are new to the program, Mishka is the third co-host of the podcast, Mike's giant Great Pyrenees, who continues to speak up every time we record.
Yes. But she must be heard.
She must be. She must be. Well, I think that qualifies as a brief ghost gab segment, Mike. I kind of like that. It's always cool to hear stuff. Always cool to hear stuff.
Yeah. And so fresh. It was just this morning.
Right. So now it looks like Mike's doing a little jig. It looked like you were trying to dance or something.
Yeah, I'm just, I got to adjust my whole body a little bit. A wee bit.
He's got to get comfortable.
I got a wear spot under my pad under my butt. And
TMI.
It gets a bit chaffy. Okay.
Anyways, boys and girls, if you are new to the program, this is the Paranormal Zone, your weekly/bi-weekly dose of all things hell, you guessed it, paranormal, strange, and mysterious. My name is Patrick, and I am joined as always by my co-host with the ghost, the paranormal poster boy himself, Mr. Ranch Handy. No, his name is Mike Carb. No, Mike. And Mishka. Mishka, you need to get a muzzle on that dang thing during podcast times. I'm telling you that right now. And now I see Mike's belly because he's standing up in front of his webcam. And don't do that. Don't ever do that again. Nope. All right. I'm not giving a play-by-play anymore, but Mike just mimicked his index finger entering his belly button. So that was.
I had an itch.
He had an itch, and he just had to stand up and show me everything. That was,
I was
wonderful.
Yelling at my dog over my partition.
I gotcha. I know. Believe it or not, we've been doing this for a long time. I'm talking a lot to potential new listeners because I know there's a few out there. And thank you very much for checking us out. If you enjoy this episode, or if you've listened in the past and you enjoy the podcast and you want to support us, no better way to do that than to check out our Patreon page. 112 exclusive episodes. That's not including our pop culture podcast, Retro and Randoms, nor is it including our true crime podcast, Wicked Legacies. Tons and tons of content over on the Paranormal Zone Patreon page, including our own paranormal jaunts to such awesome locations as the McIntyre Villa, which we just visited a mere 2 months ago. Lots of cool stuff that we captured there, including some very inexplicable audio anomalies. Dare I say, straight up EVPs sometimes, Mike. It's pretty darn cool.
Oh, absolutely.
To talk about. We have shared some on episodes past, and definitely we've shared them on the Patreon page. Lots of cool stuff out there. Again, I always joking. You see Mike and I running around in cemeteries in our socks and underwear, and that's about it. No, I'm kidding. Mike's walking slowly in his socks and underwear, and I'm squealing in the background behind somewhere, hiding behind a bush.
It kind of freaks me out though when Patrick, all of a sudden you see him wearing these thigh high socks.
Yeah, right.
It's really kind of disturbing.
Well, the thing is, they're actually just ankle socks, but I'm so short they go all the way up to my knees. So.
Yeah, the heel part is at your knees.
It is, yeah, exactly. So it's a perfect fit. Perfect.
Yeah.
Mike, your thoughts. We're going to segue into the topic tonight. We're going to talk about the strange and possibly demonic haunted TALLMAN house. This is kind of cool. This is pretty creepy. It happened back in the 80s, once featured on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries back in the 80s. Yes,
with
I'm talking
Robert
about
Stack.
With the late, great Mr. Robert Stack and that awesome episodic music. But to segue into that, I want your thoughts briefly on the idea of haunted objects, because according to this case, bringing in an outside object, in this case, a bunk bed, into this house.
A bunk bed.
The family in question claim that is when all of the bizarre and downright demonic haunting began to occur. Your thoughts, Mike, on the idea of bringing in such an item? Haunted objects, the potential for nefarious attachments. What do you think about that?
A bunk bed.
A bunk bed, of all things.
Damn that bunk bed.
I know. Was the ghost pissed because it didn't get the top bunk anymore? I mean, what's happening? I don't know.
I get the top bunk.
Right. So I can peek down below with my glowing red eyes. Sorry.
Yeah. My brother used to put his hand down the side, down like the post or whatever. Like,
sure.
Scared the shit out of me.
Well, your thoughts on haunted objects and
I totally
potential.
agree. I totally agree that objects can be haunted. There can be such an energy attached to an object just by, what it might have been used for, or what it had a connection to, with somebody or something violent, that it's just imprinted on it and, causing it to be a haunted item.
Yeah. That energy.
I totally believe that. Yeah.
The imprinted energy. Yeah. I mean, who's to know what the supposed attachment is to this bunk bed, but maybe we'll learn as we go about. I'll profess or confess my ignorance to this very case until very recently, actually.
Exactly. Yes.
So, again, as we go along and if we make any glaring mistakes or have any glaring omissions, again, listeners, please feel free to correct us. It hasn't stopped people in the past before, so keep it.
Our glaring mistakes that we make.
Yes, exactly. Our
glaring balloony.
Painfully obvious mistakes. Irritatingly egregious mistakes.
Yeah. Oh, putrid.
Awfully ignorant mistakes. Okay, you get it. Well, Mike, I'm going to reference those links that I sent you so we can follow along with each other. How's that sound?
Well, I thank you for that. I got to find it.
Let's go with the one from usghostadventures.com. No, not that Ghost Adventures, boys and girls. This is an entirely different entity.
Yes, but you know which.
I do, and we're not going there. We're not going there
with it. Not with this episode.
Well, tell you what, to show our disdain for particular things, let's not go with the usghostadventures.com article. Let's go with the Unsolved Mysteries link that I sent you. Okay? TALLMAN House.
Okay, got it.
There you go. Now,
it's just a very normal, unassuming looking house, middle class.
Which, of course, they usually tend to be.
Right.
Now, we both discussed how we pronounce the city. Yes. It is spelled Horicon. Like, how perfect for HorrorCon, but it's not horror, obviously. Is it?
HorrorCon.
Is it Horican? Horican?
Horican.
Well, it's in Wisconsin, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's a next door neighbor to me.
It's about 40 miles from Madison, Wisconsin, to kind of give you a reference.
There you go.
Sure.
Of course, the TALLMAN family, this case is referred to the TALLMAN House haunting. The alleged hauntings took place between April of 1986 all the way through January of 1988. 2 years. That's quite the time to deal with some of these. Some of these, quite frankly, sound terrifying and creepy. Man.
Quite traumatic.
As Mike mentioned, Horicon is a small town, farming town, about 3,800 people, located about 40 miles from Madison, Wisconsin. Described as a safe and prosperous place. It is known for being a stopover on the Mississippi Flyway. Aw, like MISSISSIPPI. I'll never forget that. Ever, ever, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a brief history of this case. As the story goes, Mike, 32-year-old Alan TALLMAN. See, it'd be very ironic if he was like 4'11" and his last name was TALLMAN.
You.
I
see what you did there. Go ahead.
Majority of the listeners have now stopped listening after that terrible joke. And his 30-year-old wife, Deborah, had 2 children, 7-year-old Danny. No, they didn't have him when he was 7. She had to... the way they wrote this is like they had 2 children, 7-year-old Danny and 1-year-old Marianne, as if they were given birth as a 7 and 1-year-old. But no, that's not how it goes.
Debbie.
Yes, long-time listeners know what you're referring to on that one. On April 13th, 1986, the family moved into a house on South Larrabee Street in Horicon, Wisconsin. Debbie was in fact pregnant at the time. She felt this was their dream home. And that way they would be there for a very long time. Again, we are actually referencing the TALLMAN House article on Unsolved Mysteries Wiki, which, believe it or not, is a pretty damn good source for a lot of cool hauntings.
Wiki, wiki, wacky, wiki.
Thank you.
Wiki, wacky, wiki.
Thank you for your input. They don't call him the co-host with the most ghosts for nothing, boys and girls. But according to them, they were later run out of that very house by spirits that terrorized them. Now, that house had no known history of hauntings, and they had previously never given ghosts a second thought, which a lot of people do or don't. What would you say? Is it getting pretty close to 50-50, Mike, as far as the population spread goes with believers versus non-believers, or is it actually leaning more towards believers nowadays?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's leaning more to tipping over to the more believers. But
Right.
I have heard that 50% range.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least open-minded to it.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is, that's good. It's a good start.
We're proud of you, all of you. Keep it up.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we know we're old asses, Mike. We come from the generations of you were an ostracized geek if you believed in ghosts and all the weird stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I heard it. I did.
The family was or were regular churchgoers. Debbie as a housewife and mother, and Alan as a shift supervisor in a manufacturing plant. They were or are credible and responsible citizens. So what the article is trying to make clear right now is that no, they weren't, let's see, how do you want to say it? Attention-seeking sociopaths.
Right. Exactly,
I went a little strong with sociopath right there, but you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But their paranormal experiences, Mike, have left them deeply scarred. They feel they were in a battle with forces they did not understand, a battle they were destined to lose. It was within a few weeks of moving into this new house that Danny and Mary Ann, who had rarely ever been sick, Danny and Mary Ann were the children, of course, fell ill. According to their mother, Debbie, they were in the doctor's office between 1 and 3 times a week. Now that's interesting. That could be, of course, attributed to any number of factors. Mold in the house, maybe. I don't know.
Eating worms, dirt pies.
Eating worms directly next to the house. The very haunted soil.
Not washing their hands after possibly touching fecal matter while wiping their bottoms.
Especially haunted fecal matter.
Yes, many different things.
Now, Mary Ann was hospitalized twice, actually. Once for chickenpox and another for an ear infection. Her husband, Alan, got sick as well. At first, they thought their illnesses were due to the house's building materials. However, building inspectors found no trace of asbestos or other toxic substances. So there you go. No mold. Even the family's cat started acting weird, Mike.
Yes. Radon.
Was that the name of the cat?
Yeah.
Their cat would run around the house and climb the walls and doors. Now, we've all encountered some pretty wacky cats in our lives.
Oh, sure.
They're quirky.
Cats are wacky.
But climbing the walls and the doors, that's intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
One night, in fact, the cat ran into Alan and Debbie's bedroom, jumped onto a dresser, and attached herself to the plaster wall. Another time, she crashed into a wall. Man, get the cat's eyesight checked or something. They found a new home for her a short time later. On another night, Danny and his babysitter saw a kitchen chair bounce around and rock back and forth.
By itself.
By itself, even. Now, that is something you cannot dismiss. Now, it's almost as if the activity is kind of slowly building up, right?
That's weirder than the cat.
That's much weirder than the weird cat. Yes. Yeah. But again, kind of like it starts to affect the health of the family. That starts to affect the very psychosis of the cat. And now objects are moving.
I think it's Mad Hatter's disease. It's mercury poisoning.
Mercury poisoning, even. Okay. Well, that throws a downer on it all.
Yes.
Thanks, Mr. Sippy from his thermos. What do you got in there?
That's me hot tea.
That's his hot tea. Okay.
With a wee bit of milk and 3 lumps in it.
Gross. Milk and 3 lumps in your tea.
3 lumps.
3 lumps. I heard tree. I was like, gross. Now, it was in the fall of 1986 when Debbie was diagnosed with placenta previa and was told by doctors not to perform housework. Her mother and sister came over to help. However, both had negative feelings about the house. They all felt as if they were, quote, suffocating the house was, quote, suffocating the family. Her mother could not wait to leave the house. Her sister would get headaches and feel sick every time she entered the house. Okay, they're getting even weirder here. I mean, there's literal physical reactions the moment they walk into the house. Not to be dismissed, Mr. Smacking Your Lips. What's going on over there? You all right? Take another totally sip of your tree lump.
My tree lump. No, I'm fine. Thank you.
It was in November when Debbie gave birth to their second daughter, Sarah, around that time. Alan's personality, however, changed. At night, Alan became short-tempered and easily irritated. He often argued with Debbie over trivial matters. Now, of course, we're under the assumption that stuff like this was not occurring anyways, right? That they were very happily married. They were,
right.
Just the connection was there. The love was there. They were beyond happy, and they didn't have such trivial arguments. So we're under the assumption that this is odd behavior from Alan.
Right. It's like a deterioration of the relationship. It's like it's like the Amityville Defoe family breakdown.
Man, that's exactly it. I was thinking that sounded kind of familiar, but that's exactly right. Yeah, for sure. One night, Alan threatened to leave the family and went on a drinking binge. Alan. In early February 1987, Alan and Debbie purchased a bunk bed at a second-hand furniture store and stored it in their basement. So, that's kind of, I insinuated at the beginning of the episode that all the weird stuff started happening after they got the bunk bed. Sounds like some weird stuff was happening well before they got to bunk bed.
Right, and then the bunk bed exasperated it.
There you go. Mike, you looked like you were in pain when you said that.
Well, I felt a little pressure.
Okay.
Right in the middle of my forehead.
It's like, I must finish the word.
Yeah. Must not implode.
In May, they moved the bunk bed into Danny's old bedroom so Marianne and Sarah could share a room. He moved into the bedroom next door. He also inherited his parents' old clock radio. Now, that very night, according to Danny, the radio took on a life of its own, starting to move back and forth between stations. Okay, that's one of those old radios that has to be manipulated in order to do that, right? You got a knob you got to turn, right?
Yeah, you got the dial.
You got the dial. After seeing this, Danny understandably ran to the living room and told Mom and Dad what had happened. Well, of course they didn't believe him, so they sent him back to bed. So frustrating for a young kid sometimes.
Very frustrating.
Did that ever happen to you, Mike? I know that your mom and dad were both open to paranormal. Did you ever run to them screaming after you experienced something and they just shooed you away? Said, deal with it.
No, they were, especially my dad. He was, so supportive in that. My mom, she didn't like it because I think it scared her, and she didn't, wasn't sure if it was demonic or not. But my dad, the generations back on his side of the family, it's just something that we all just grew up with.
Yeah.
So, which I feel very fortunate to have been able to do.
That's awesome. Very, very cool, man. Very, very cool. A few minutes after he was shushed away to his room, Danny saw the radio dial move by itself. The indicator went from one side to the other. He again told his parents what had happened. Now, thinking he was having a quote-unquote fit with the radio, they took the radio out of his room. Problem solved, right? However, it was after that Danny had trouble sleeping in the room. Danny would kick and scream when it was time for bed, and he would rarely sleep through the night. He, in fact, actually started to hear someone walk across his carpet and bang on the basement water pipes. That's creepy as hell.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that would terrify me. Are you kidding me? Hearing something creep across the carpet floor and then start banging on the basement water pipes? Now, again, I don't know how old the house is. If those natural house sounds, rattling pipes, I don't know.
And we don't know if it was a shag carpet or a fine Berber.
There you go. It makes a difference. Absolutely.
Yes.
Another night, Danny says he saw a suitcase slide from under his bed, zoom across the bedroom floor, and then slide back underneath his bed. That's getting pretty terrifying. It's so terrifying, Mike finds it hilarious.
Well, I'm just picturing it, and interesting.
So so why did that make you laugh? I'm curious.
I don't know. I just imagine standing there
seeing a suitcase.
Suitcase, zip, bing, zing, bing, boom, and it's back. And
then it goes back under the bed. Yeah.
What do? You go about your business. I mean, nothing you can do about it. It happens.
You would not be a very good psychiatrist, I don't think, Mike, because you would start laughing at everything the poor patient says to you. Mike's just giggling in the background.
I'll just get in their face and yell, "Are you serious?
Are you serious? You're interrupting me and eating my Cheetos." Again, Danny came out yelling to his parents, this time, in fact, crying to his parents. Guess what? Yet again, they did not believe him, so they took him back to bed. And again, a few minutes later, guess what had happened? Again. Dad decided to take the suitcase out of the room. The parents thought that old Danny was making up stories for attention. That summer, Marianne and Sarah also had trouble sleeping. They would wake up in the middle of the night crying and could not fall back to sleep. Now you start to think that, okay, something's going on here. Okay, it was not only our wacky son here. Well, I'm saying that in a polite way,
right. Mm-hmm.
But they're kind of treating him like, oh, you're having fits, you're seeking attention. But your daughters are also going through the same thing here. They're not sleeping. Yeah. They're crying.
Well, they're in cahoots.
Okay, there you go. The others in cahoots. They don't like the new house. They want to move back, type of thing.
Yeah.
Marianne, however, in fact, started to have nightmares. She told Dad and Mom about a voice in her room that, quote, shushed her.
Mm-hmm.
They also heard her giggling and talking to someone. Ooh, oh, that one kind of gave me heebie-jeebies. Can you imagine that? Just giggling. Again, imaginary friend, maybe? I mean, we've done episodes on imaginary friends. Again, are they paranormal in nature? Or are they...
I used to talk to my imaginary friend.
Did you giggle, too?
I'm sure I giggled a little bit. Just a wee bit of a giggle.
Just a wee bit of a giggle. Dad sometimes stayed in the children's bedrooms to help them fall asleep. In fact, one night when he was in Danny's room, he heard what he thought were mice or rats crawling around. Ugh. I mean, they're cute, but you don't want them in your house.
No.
He and Mom searched the house extensively, but found no trace of animal activity.
No poop or nothing.
No poop. Okay. According to them, it was well insulated. Rats and mice should not be in there, according to them.
Okay.
Then in September, Debbie heard the garage door open and close by itself. Now, okay, sure, fine. That happens a lot of times as well. Manufacturing, malfunctioning garage door openers, boys and girls. We've all had them. They're fun.
Yeah.
However, Debbie started suffering from violent nightmares as well, which she rarely had before moving into this dang house.
With the bunk bed.
With the bunk bed. And one nightmare, intruders came up from the basement. Creepy. Lined the family up against the wall and shot them. Yikes.
Was this a dream? This was a dream.
This was one of her nightmares.
Okay, got it.
Well, how terrifying. Are you kidding me?
Well, absolutely.
A lucid, terrifying nightmare. She also had nightmares of the children being kidnapped or drowned in a river. Oh my God.
Yes.
Drowning in a river. Sorry, not drowned, drowning in a river. Mom, in fact, felt like she was going mad. But For months and months, they rarely discussed the strange occurrences. Now, you hear that quite often, don't you, Mike, in hauntings? It's like no matter what is happening, there's so much denial going on. Or like denial in order to try and feel comfortable or feel better about the situation, right? They just refuse to even acknowledge the possibility that something out of this world, something paranormal is indeed going on. You hear that quite a bit in cases like this.
Absolutely.
So nothing new there. One evening late in late September, Alan was painting the basement walls when Debbie called for him for dinner. He laid the brush down on the paint tray and went upstairs. About a half hour later, he went back down to continue painting. He found the brush on the other side of the table, its handle, quote, jammed into the paint bucket with the bristles sticking upright. So the paint brush
that would piss me off.
Yeah, I know. It had been picked up from the paint tray and thrown in upside down into the paint bucket.
That's just mean.
That's just a prickish move by that dang ghost.
That's ill-spirited.
No pun intended. A few minutes later is when Alan claimed he saw a shadow dart across the basement. He figured something strange was actually happening in the house, but he could not accept the fact that it was potentially haunted. One morning, Alan found the basement window removed and neatly propped up against the wall, but no valuables had been taken. So it's like, well, did someone bust in? Well, if they did, they didn't take anything. But then my next thought would be, is someone hiding in my house right now?
Exactly, right.
Oh, gosh. That's such a creepy thing to me. It terrifies me. Thinking of...
They're under the stairs.
I know. Oh, gosh, that's so creepy. What was that? We shared some cases about that. One of them was so utterly terrifying. It was like the gal was laying in her bed looking up at like one of those grates in the ceiling when she saw like an eyeball staring back at her.
Yeah.
Just some flipping weirdo who's been sleeping up in the vents and...
One glistening eyeball.
Glaring. There you go. The glaring eyeball. No thanks. Debbie noted that a chair would be needed to exit the window, but nothing had been moved. So what's going on with that window being removed? It was after that that Debbie rarely, if ever, went to the basement alone. She felt every time like she was being watched. The TALLMANs decided to get a dog for protection. But guess what? The dog began acting strangely the moment they brought the dog home.
Of course.
He barked at the house when he was outside, and once inside, he scratched at the door to get out.
Get me the hell out of here.
Knows, I don't like it. Arf, arf. I don't like it.
Me no like it.
Right. In fact, other neighborhood dogs would bark at their home for no apparent reason. Good golly. We'll repaint it. We're sorry. Alan, in fact, started to feel uneasy whenever he came into the house. He felt like something was waiting for him in the garage, watching his every movement. When he closed the garage door, he felt like he wasn't, quote, he felt like he was, quote, shutting himself into a tomb. Well, that's not a happy feeling to have when you go home.
I don't like that.
No. It's like you're trapped with this entity. Or entities.
I'd be getting some sage going there.
In fact, one night, while walking from the garage into the house, Alan felt a sharp tug on his lunch pail. Okay, see, it's getting more and more aggressive, isn't it?
Yes.
Slowly building here. It was in late October when Alan began suffering from a severe sinus infection. A few nights after that, his condition worsened. He was coughing, throwing up, having trouble breathing. Debbie decided to take him to the hospital, and his mother came over to watch their children. Debbie had a bad feeling about the house and could not wait to leave it. Or I should say, Grandma had a bad feeling about the house, could not wait to leave it. After the children went to bed, she fell asleep on the living room couch. However, it was in the middle of the night. You can just guess what the heck's happening after that. Oh, sorry. I lost my spot here.
She woke up and saw glowing red eyes staring at her through the window.
Are you good, Lordy Almighty? I love how Mike reads it too. Just adds that extra ominous tone. Here we go. I got my place again. Sorry about that, Mike.
All right.
It was after the children went to bed that she fell asleep on the couch. In the middle of the night, as Mike said, she woke up and saw glowing red eyes staring at her through the window. Terrifying. No, thank you. Good Lord. So the glowing red eyes, of course, stereotypically makes you feel like, okay, evil, right? Something,
yes.
There's an evil energy there.
Quite satanic.
Ugh, that's satanic. Yes, for sure. I'd like a satanic drink, please. Dumb joke.
I'll have a dirty satanic. with a little bit of clamato juice.
A what juice?
Clamato juice.
It was one night in late November when Marianne told Debbie she saw a fire in her room. She also said someone was watching her. God, that's just getting creepier and creepier. She was, in fact, so scared that Debbie had to sit with her until she fell asleep. Over the next few days, she talked about fire on the door and windows. What is this poor daughter seeing? Fire in her room, on the doors, and the windows. She also said, Mike, that something was hiding behind her door and waiting until the lights went out to attack her. It was after that, once again, Debbie heard Marianne giggling, laughing, and talking in the middle of the night.
Yeah, this is messed up here.
She joined her parents in bed and said, quote, "It's coming. It's here." Yikes! That literally gave me some chill bumps right there. I'm not kidding.
Zoinks?
No, I said yikes.
I know. I said zoinks.
Zoinks? Shaggy impersonator over here. Oh, that's creepy as hell. When they asked who was coming, she became upset and asked why they could not see or hear it. It's as if it was right there in the room with them. Only the child could see them. The parents couldn't see it.
Pennywise.
Oh, God, that's creepy. Of course, Mom and Dad thought Miriam was simply making up stories. They did not mention what she had in fact seen to Danny. But one night a month later, he told Danny, he had seen a 4-foot-tall, quote, hideous old woman, oh my God, with long black hair standing by his door. He said the woman, quote, glowed like fire. These poor kids. Of course, Debbie told him it was his imagination. He should go back to sleep. Oh, sure. Thanks, Mom. No problem.
As he's never slept again since.
But why? I mean, are they doing this to try and protect the kids and try to keep them as calm as possible, as they possibly can? Because these parents have been experiencing inexplicable stuff at the same time. But they keep just tossing aside their kids' experiences as if it's just all made up. Now, why do you think that is?
They're in some kind of denial.
For sure, denial.
Partial denial. I don't know.
Maybe it's that instinctive parental, feeling of protection. Urge to protect your kid and just try to keep them from. They're just trying to ease their nerves as much as they can.
Yeah, to placate them.
There you go. Yes. Again, a few minutes later, the woman returned. Debbie stayed with him the rest of the night. That terrifying, glowing witch gal. Good God. Ugh. It was by that point that Alan and Debbie believed their house was in fact haunted. Well, duh. You think so by now? No offense. I'm sorry. I know. Trust, if you're new to the program, when we make comments like that, we're not being disrespectful by any means. It's just kind of our, I don't know. It's kind of our thing, I guess. By that point, Al and Debbie believed their house was haunted. Desperate, they turned to their pastor, Reverend Wayne Dobratz of St. Stephen's Lutheran Church. He felt the presence of evil in the home and thought they might be the victims of the devil. The Reverend blessed the house, gave them religious music tapes. Does that include like some Peter, Paul, and Mary songs, or are we talking? What are we talking? Ave Maria. He also asked them to pray, to read Bible passages, and attend church every Sunday. The Tallmans claim they never had a moment's peace. Doors banged open and shut. Strange voices called to them from empty rooms. The visions continued to persist.
The smell of rotting flesh in the toilets.
Shirtless Zach Bagans traveling through dimensions back in time, attacking Aaron Godwin.
The walls dripping pink
God.
Pepto-Bismol.
I wanted to kill you.
Anyway,
the children were still terrorized. They followed Debbie around the house because they did not want to be alone, understandably.
Yeah, no kidding.
The nights were pure chaos. The week before Christmas, Danny started sleeping on the living room couch because he was too afraid to sleep in his room. It was at 3:30 a.m., of course, the 3 o'clock hour, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
He again saw the old woman standing by the Christmas tree. This time he actually asked her what she wanted, but she did not answer. Instead, she continued to stare intently at him.
That bitch gotta go.
Good. Exactly. Perfect. She appeared to him 3 times that night, Mike. That night, appearing to get larger every time she appeared.
Yeah, there's got to be some specific reason for it. There was some kind of a message going on somewhere. But
when mom came to try and comfort Danny, she noticed that he was actually paralyzed with fear. Alan, in fact, became afraid for his and his family's lives. Alan began having visions of coming home from work and finding his family brutally murdered. Man, sounds so familiar to a lot of the Lutz case, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, it also reminds me of the Bell Witch, the Bell Witch cave.
For sure.
John Bell, how his family was attacked so bad.
Oh, man.
Went to hell. Yeah, and that was an earlier time period, but very similar.
It was by Christmas when Alan had reached his breaking point. He felt he could not control what was happening in his very own house. He, in fact, challenged the entity and yelled, "Whatever is in our house, would you please leave my children alone? And if you want to fight, you fight with me." You know what that sounds like? That sounds like Craig T. Nelson in Poltergeist right there.
Yeah. I mean, he pukes out that giant worm. Turns into that legless, armless thing.
The next night, Alan had a nightmare in which a tornado was heading for his house and he could not find his family. Yeah, that's a surefire sign of him feeling like he's losing control. Absolutely. It was 2 weeks after that, on Thursday, January 7th, 1988, at around 2 a.m., Alan returned home from working the late shift. As he approached the front door, he heard an eerie howling sound and felt a strong gust of wind coming from the direction of the garage. That is creepy.
Yeah.
As he was about to open the door, the wind became stronger and louder. It reminded him of his nightmare. Oh, interesting. Then a voice came out of the wind and said, "Come here." Alan ran around the side of the house thinking someone was pranking him. However, of course, you guessed it, no one was there. After looking around for a few minutes, Mike finds that funny again.
just picturing it. Come here.
Right.
Like, no,
I'm not going anywhere. Thank you very much.
That's another me no likey.
Yep, I'll take a rain check on that one. After looking around for a few minutes, Alan returned to the front door. The howling and the wind started up again. The voice loudly and repeatedly said, "Come here." When he looked at the garage, this time he saw orange-red flames coming out of it. Then 2 shimmering green eyes, good golly, Miss Molly, with blood-red pupils, looked at him through the garage door's windows. Get that guy some Visine. Scared, he ran. Well, of course he's scared. Terrified, he just ran inside, sat his lunch pail on the floor, slammed the door shut, and locked it. He stood there for a few seconds and then said, "Oh my God, my garage is on fire." So this is such a potent, strong visual that he saw. Mike.
Right.
He truly believed that. It's like, my house is up. My garage is on fire.
Yeah.
Like, he's not questioning any hallucinatory events going on right now. Alan ran back outside. He looked at the garage. The flames were gone. And there was no evidence that a fire had even occurred. The wind was also gone. It was also gone. No more howling. No more come here. He again ran back inside and closed and deadbolted the door. He reached down and picked up his lunch pail. However, it was then that the entity threw the pail across the living room and into the kitchen. So it's following him.
No need for that.
Right. Now that's just too far.
Yeah.
I mean, glowing, skanky looking, haggard witch women burning down garages, but I can handle that. You touch my lunch pail? No, thanks. I don't know why I threw in skanky. I'm not saying the witch was skanky, but...
Well, she sounded pretty skanky.
She sounded skanky, right?
Yeah. Pretty horrendous.
Alan ran into the bedroom, jumped in bed with Debbie. He asked if she had heard anything, any howling, but she had not. However, he could still hear it from the bedroom. He was terrified. She had never seen him like that before. They were so scared they stayed awake all night. I do not blame them. Alan actually believed that the entity was focusing on him. Although he did not see it or could not see it, he could feel its presence. He had trouble sleeping at night as it kept waking him up. Every night he and Debbie kept all the lights on and all the doors locked, all the windows locked as well. If they did not lock...
Don't close the door! Sorry.
Oh, you're right. If they did not lock the basement and garage doors, the doors would rattle all night. On the afternoon of Saturday, January 9th, Alan's 16-year-old brother, Jonathan, was outside the house when he saw a floating red light in the garage. What's up with the damn garage?
Yeah. Interesting.
When his brother and Alan entered the garage, the light, of course, had vanished. That night, Alan slept on the floor in Marianne and Sarah's room. The girls were traumatized and needed help falling asleep. Naturally, understandably. While lying on the floor, Alan heard again a howling sound similar to the one he had heard outside a few minutes earlier. But this time, a fog rose from the floor and surrounded him. It kept rising so much that it actually reached the ceiling, Mike, and turned, listen to this, turned into a human-like figure with red eyes and green pupils.
Green pupils.
Again, Visine. It raised its arm, pointed at him, and said, "You are dead." Of course, it disappeared like the prick that it is.
Yeah, coward.
Right? Alan, of course, staggered out of the bedroom. He would not talk to Debbie. His lips were blue and his skin was white.
Staggering out.
I know. Again, things that you find funny, it just makes...
This white, streaky body. Mary would scream.
I was going to say, that reminds me of some of your stories. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Debbie thought he looked so pale and sickly that she thought he was having a heart attack. She tried to get him to tell what had happened, but all he did was stand there, tears running out of his eyes, saying, "Leave me alone." She called Reverend Dobratz and what's that? Oh, that's the sound of tears falling on the floor? Okay.
Something, yeah.
Debbie called Reverend Dobratz and asked him to come over right away. When the Reverend arrived a few minutes later, he noticed Alan was frightening and shaking. He urged them to leave the house and stay with family. As they left, I should say, Debbie saw a small, intense flame at the top of the garage door that quickly disappeared. Again, what's with the flames? What is going on there? The next night, they returned home. Boy, you gave it one night? Jeepers. The Reverend had said that he blessed the house. He led them in prayers and communion and told them to play religious music all night. That night, they didn't have any issues, but the following night would be completely different. That next night, Alan was working late.
Get Dobratz back.
They better get Dobratz. Alan was working late, so he asked Jonathan to watch over Marianne and Sarah until they fell asleep. Jonathan was a complete skeptic. However, that night changed his mind. It was around 8 p.m. while lying on the floor, he heard Sarah say, "Hi there." When he turned towards her, he saw the same figure Alan had seen 2 nights earlier. As it moved towards him, it said, "Now you are involved."
Well, thanks.
Yeah, oh, I feel so welcome.
Yeah.
After it said this, Mike, it melted into the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Smelled like
Lord.
butter.
Smells like cabbage. Jonathan screamed and yelled for Debbie, but she was too frightened to enter the bedroom. She then, of course, asked her son, Danny, to see what was happening. "Get in there, kid." He said, "It's there. I can see it." Marianne came out and said she saw it too. Finally, Jonathan came out and Debbie asked him what had happened. He said it was in the bedroom. Not Pennywise.
And it smells like pasta.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm done with that.
She asked where Sarah was, and he said she was still in the room. She told him to get Sarah and that they were leaving. She could not handle this anymore.
That's enough of that.
Yes. As they're pulling out of the driveway, Danny yelled, "Mom, it's looking at us out the window." Debbie took his word and did not look back. That would be terrifying to look back and see it's in your house, still looking at you outside the window. Through the window, I should say. They went to Alan's work. She told him what had happened. She refused to return to the house. Later that night, he drove past the house, Alan that is. All the lights were on, even though only the light in Danny's room and the living room were on when they left. The TALLMANs spent the night with Alan's mother, and the next morning, Alan again returned to the house to get some of their belongings. This time, only the living room light was on, and the light in Danny's room was off. He had found no problem with the light, so again, that's kind of inexplicable. A few days later, they picked up the rest of their belongings and moved in with relatives. Reverend Dobratz and another pastor then conducted a house cleansing ritual of prayers and scripture readings. Shortly afterward, rumors about the hauntings began to spread. Some, in fact, claimed that it was a portal to hell in the basement, that blood dripped from the walls, and a snowblower cleared the driveway on its own.
It's not all bad, I guess.
That's not exactly right.
Yeah,
well, thank you. That's a helpful ghosty. I appreciate
really
that.
I feel like doing that anyway. So. My word.
The police actually barricaded the street to keep people away. On January 21st, Horicon Police Chief Doug Gleman contacted Alan. He and his family were still frightened and had trouble sleeping. Alan was unwilling to discuss anything regarding the house because he did not want to seem crazy. However, the chief convinced the TALLMANs to come to the police station and discuss their experiences. After the chief met with the TALLMANs, he believed they were sincere and had been through a, quote, emotionally draining experience. He promised them confidentiality, tried to protect them from the press and bystanders. He also convinced them to meet with Milwaukee Sentinel journalist James Nelson to dispel the rumors about the hauntings.
James Nelson Riley.
No.
No.
In conclusion, on January 25th, Chief Gleman, 2 other officers visited the house. While there, the phone rang a few times. When they answered it, the line was dead. That's interesting. They disabled the receiver, but the phone rang again. This is the 80s now. A few weeks later, on February 13th, the TALLMANs had the bunk bed destroyed and buried in a private landfill. Why didn't they just burn it? Burn it! Turn it into cinders.
Yeah.
Ashes.
Yep.
They also put their house up for sale. And again, I'm not questioning what their decisions, okay? I come across as prickish every now and then. I don't mean to. Since Mike lowered his head after I said that.
No.
Since then, the family has moved into a new home in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. So far, they have experienced no paranormal phenomena. However, Debbie believes it will take a long time for things to return to normal. She is still afraid of the dark and being alone at nights.
Yeah, just psychologically, there, it's.
Oh my gosh, that's
She'll
trauma.
never totally get over it.
That's traumatizing. That is that's pure trauma. That's pretty intense, Mike. I didn't even read the whole article. We didn't get time to get to the other link either. Highly encourage you guys to type this in if you want to do your own research. It's the TALLMAN House Haunting, TALLMAN, TALLMAN House Haunting. Pretty creepy, pretty eerie. I hope everything turned out fine for them. Again, I was pretty ignorant to this topic before this discussion. I don't even know if family members of all of them are still alive. I hope they all are. Of course.
I've never heard of this story before.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's very obscure. But man, just because it's obscure doesn't mean it absolutely affected negatively and traumatized a family.
That's right.
I just can't get over the fire. I mean, yeah, the creepy, haggard witch thing. Oh my God, terrifying. But the fire, the constant fire that the kids claimed to see, and the fire in the garage, so much so that the garage looked like it was on fire. What does that suggest to you, Mike? What's your vibe on the flames?
Well, I mean, how physical was it? I mean, was it like as just a vision, or I wonder if they could smell it or feel it or hear it?
That's a good question.
I mean, because is it a residual, type thing?
That would be a flippin' intense and powerful residual. Holy cow!
Exactly. Or is it something evil or something from a demonic realm that's
well, the fact that two separate voices were continually heard, saying like, now you're involved. I mean, that's not residual at all to me. That's
that's intelligent.
That's intelligent and threatening for sure. Yeah. And also like, you're dead. And
even more threatening.
And more threatening. Or the daughter talking with some unknown voice and giggling and laughing. Again, it's like they start off slow, Mike. They're trying to manipulate the family. They're going for the kid. I'm saying we don't know if there were multiple entities or what. But they're trying to like kind of sneak in through the child. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, we're going to giggle with you. We're going to laugh. We're going to make you feel comfortable.
It reminds me of Jody, the pig from the Amityville Horror.
Oh my gosh. But with the bunk bed, that is really intriguing. Again, I didn't mean to mislead the listeners at the beginning of the show by saying that all this happened after the bunk bed was brought in. It definitely intensified greatly after the bunk bed.
Did I miss something about what the connection was with this bunk bed?
No, it never said anything. It just said they bought it from a secondhand shop.
Yeah, so there's nothing that's pointing towards this. It's just that the time frame kind of works around when the bed came in.
Right, yeah. For all we know, it could be totally unrelated.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I think that's kind of stupid. It does nothing for the story, and it just kind of adds a twist of, well, yeah, but I thought I better just throw this in just in case.
Well, you have to throw in all aspects of the story like that. I mean, before the bunk bed, some kind of weird, inexplicable, not necessarily terrifying things were happening, just very tiny, minute little things. But then the bunk bed comes in and things explode, basically. No pun intended with the flames. And the witches begin to appear, for God's sakes. Do we know if it's connected or not? Of course we don't. We don't know the backstory of the bunk bed. We just know it came from a secondhand store.
I know where that bunk bed came from and why.
Why?
It was donated from the Jonestown.
Yes. Okay. Why?
Could you imagine that?
No. I refuse to. But my gosh, that's terrifying. It's
Kool-Aid stains on the mattress.
Okay, enough.
Oh, that's horrible.
Cool it, mister. Cool it. Well, Mike, any final thoughts on this case? It's definitely intriguing. I am interested beyond interest for sure. I'd like to learn more. Again, if anyone out there is more familiar with this case, please don't hesitate to let us know. That was a very brief rundown on the case itself. Final thoughts, Mike, on the TALLMAN house haunting.
I I totally believe it's a legit thing. I
do too. I do too. It's just my vibe.
Yeah. I can feel it in my bones.
Now, again, I profess my ignorance. If I'm wrong on this, I don't know if the family has. I hate sounding like Mr. Cynical here. I don't know if the family has benefited at all by. Has there been a book released? Did they, something like that? Has there been a made-for-TV movie? Has there been a movie? Has there been a TV series? I don't know. I profess my ignorance.
There's so much more of a deeper dive that you could do on this story and get that information, but this is, like you said, kind of like an opening the book.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
For sure. Well, I'm glad we did open the book, Mike. This was fun. I think not for them. It was fun for us to discuss. No disrespect to them. For everybody who's still on this wonderful earth involved in this case, I hope they are doing well. And Mike, onward and upward to our next episode. Yeah, what do you have to say?
I apologize for the Jonestown remark.
No, that's okay. Don't apologize. Don't ever apologize. It's a sign of weakness. Don't ever apologize.
Oh, well, then I fit right in then.
No. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Again, if you are new to the program, I hope you enjoyed it. This is kind of a good little sample of what the Paranormal Zone is all about. And I should say on the Patreon page, we have had a hell of a lot of awesome guests on our show, guest interviews throughout the years.
Absolutely.
Some big names from the paranormal world. If you're interested in listening to those interviews, some of them are on video as well. Check out the Patreon page. Yeah, Jason Haas, Grant Wilson, Ron Moorhead, Andrea Perrin, Amy Allen, Amy Bruni. I mean, the list goes on and on. Very, very proud of the fact that we've had the honor of talking to so many awesome people. Chip Coffee, I am reminded because Mike has the wonderful signed picture above his head right now of the lovely Chip Coffee. So all the best to Chip. Last post he shared, he wasn't doing well health-wise. So all the best to Mr. Coffee. With that, Mike, what do our paranormal pals need to do?
Plain and simple, just peace out.